Hey everybody, welcome to another episode or second episode of Sunday Night Live My Life with tonight's guest, Dustin Souders. Well, before we get into Dustin's life, I wanted to do an announcement. Couple announcements. First, I'm gonna have a guest Wednesday night with Gladys of Just Ask Gladys. She's gonna be coming in to talk about organization and storage. Excuse me. And then I also am 10 viewers away from 1,000. So when I get to 1,000, I will be having a giveaway. I haven't figured out how I'm going to work it out yet, but I'm going to be giving away a LED microscope loupe. So you'll be getting one that's not this one. It'll be a different one. It will come in a black case, and it has, like I said, it has an LED light. So you'll be able to look up things that are very close and small, like jewelry and or anything else that has markings that you want to look at. With that, Dustin, why don't you remind everybody a little bit about who you are and get into your life?
Well, I am 39 from Cincinnati, Ohio. I was born and raised here. I'm a fourth generation West Sider. I was born with bilateral club feet. You have to look that up to understand a little bit more. I did not start walking until I was probably about 7 years old, after all the surgeries and everything else. I started working when I was 14 and a half at a local restaurant. Did restaurants day and night for probably about 6 or 7 years. Got into manufacturing, a lot of injection manufacturing. Did that up till about 3.5 years ago now, and made the decision to go ahead and get out of the rat race and start getting into buying and selling. I started off buying storage units because of the show. I did that for about 2.5 years. I went out and bought a Chevy Tahoe and started, buying stuff, hauling it around and separating it, and then selling at the flea market on Saturday and Sunday. And then that became a grind and got to a kind of like a maximum level doing it by yourself. So I started looking into other ways to sell and got on the internet and started researching things. Came across some Amazon stuff. So I researched that a little bit, checked it out. Sounded pretty good. Sounded a little new and strange and scary all at the same time. So I started off as a third-party seller, merchant fulfilled. Did that for about six months. Made a few bucks, not much, just a little nickel and dime stuff, and finally got enough together where I just went ahead and went to FBA status. Created my first shipment. That was a big pain in the ass for your first time trying to figure out their website and just going through it. Sent that in, and that started slowly. That increased my sales probably, I'd say 35% within the first 2 weeks. So that kind of put the light bulb going on. So I stayed with Amazon for about 8 months, just Amazon only, not buying a lot, but just here and there, a little thrifting, some yard sales, that kind of stuff. And then I figured out that it was time to start getting into eBay. So I started buying back in October 2015, before I even had eBay set up. Just start buying random stuff while I was at yard sales or thrift stores for $1, just taking hits here and there, just see what'll happen down the road. Started eBay this year, January 4th this year. Pretty happy with it overall. Not real happy with the time to research your price points, what's selling at, the completeds, the solds, and just the information. But it is another avenue to sell stuff. So I also use a local auction house to dump all my duds at. They start everything at $1, so I get most of my money back, if not all of it, and then some. I also have a local consignment store. I do men's and women's clothing and accessories and so forth. That does really well for me. It took me probably 2 years to develop that relationship and to get where I'm at with her. But it works out really well. As far as overall personal life, I was a little bit of a knucklehead between 16 and 25. Ran around, did some dumb stuff. But I always had a head on my shoulders, from my mom and dad. They brought me up pretty well. I just chose not to listen like any other knucklehead out there. So I have one little boy now. He's almost 3, and sometime in the next 1 to 4 weeks, our other baby should be popping out. So things are going to change, back to the 3-hour cycle of life. If anybody has kids out there, you understand what I'm saying. So I'm just trying to get as many bigger projects around the house done before the baby gets here. The other thing I'm having trouble with is, being a stay-at-home father, is trying to get enough time to source. Actually, enough time to take pictures, post, and put up good ads up on eBay. So Amazon's pretty easy to do. You pretty much scan it with your phone while you're out and about. You like the price point, it shows you pretty much everything you need to do, and you just come home and you ship it off. Not that hard after you do it a few times, so it's pretty simple. I'll just have to see how the next month goes with baby coming. I may start getting back into Amazon a little bit more, because it's a lot easier time-wise. It's not as fun. It's not as cool, because you're buying new stuff at yard sales or thrift stores or wherever, storage units, wherever you get it from. It's not as cool. It's not as fun, but it's pretty easy. So.
Well, we have our first question for you. Well, actually, more or less for me, though. Where did I get that funny-looking guy who's talking?
Who would ask a question like that?
Mr. Joe Panico.
Who's Joe Panico? Is he a Japanese machine?
Oh, he's a sub just like you.
I know. How you doing, Joe? I don't know. I mean, I've had an interesting life in a way, but in a way I haven't, because I'm a 4th-generation West Sider. I've never lived outside of Cincinnati. I've traveled a little bit, not much, but my grandfather, he's still alive at 96. Every now and then, if I have a sitter, I'll catch up with him in the afternoon and have a beer at the local bar he goes to. He always has 2 beers and leaves. He served, my dad served. So outside of that, I don't think too many of us in vacations have really left the west side of Cincinnati. I do have possession of a stop sign and a fire hydrant. If that tells you anything about being young and retarded.
That I would try myself. Is that a real floral shirt?
It's made in Hawaii. Yes, it is.
Oh, we're up to set. Oh, when I was 8 viewers. I know. Dusty. I told Dustin. Dusty had a show. There's also another show going on. Jay and they are having a show, their hall show. So it seems like we're having a battle on a Sunday night all of a sudden again.
Yeah, it's the one day of the weekend that everybody gets done doing stuff and comes home and has time to do stuff like this.
Yeah, well, usually it's not this packed. So, as we all know, I usually have a good amount of viewers, but oh well.
Yeah, it is what it is. They can watch it tomorrow or next day, and maybe we'll get some extra subs out of it down the road, so we can find out who wins the the jewelry looker.
Coco Chanel says she's here, and Brian said, "Well, hell, let me start the show right now."
Brian's going to start an art show. He's going to do a live painting.
Since when we started it worked out with yours. I should tell a little bit about you said you had the club feet again. Explain that a little bit if you want.
Basically, I was born with my toes facing each other and my ankles up, not down like most people, so they were up. So what they would do is they would literally break your leg to get your, you know, you start here and they'd break them, put metal pins in, let it regrow, break them, metal pins to get the leg, you know, your toes facing back out. And then they would break them one more time to try to get your ankles back down and do a little bit more reconstructive that way. And I was in full leg cast with the metal pins going through. I think I was 6, from what my mom told me, was like 6.5 years old when I still had those. And actually the Bengals were in the Super Bowl, and I picked up my leg, my cast in my leg, and went to put it down, and the metal pin hit the frickin' coffee table and just irked everything. So that wasn't a very good day.
I guess not.
But yeah, I mean, it didn't. My mom used to take me around in a little red flyer wagon in the neighborhood. We lived in a little cul-de-sac with a bunch of families, and she was just put me in there and just troll me around and still get out and have a little fun.
Okay, we have a question from Joe. He says, Dustin, what concerns do you have for new resellers trying to break into the community, and what information do you think would be most helpful in the beginning for them?
Concerns about new sellers coming into the community. I came from storage units and selling at the flea market, so moving inventory and reselling was, you know, compared to like just. Let me think about that for a second, because if you just started doing eBay and Amazon and you never resold, you're going to have a lot of issues starting out. eBay with your picture quality, which is not a huge deal, but it does help once you get further up. But like Amazon and eBay, as far as descriptions, the pictures, the correct postings, the correct listings, and what they're selling for versus what people are asking, that's a lot to figure out if you don't have a reselling background. I would say hang out in these chats watch them live, kind of research what people are talking about also while you're listening to them. And that'll help give you a little bit more insight to what they're talking about and what you can see yourself. As far as what information would be most helpful in the beginning, try to become a friend on Facebook or a Hangout or something of that nature with another reseller that you get along with personally and kind of have the same views just overall in life, and ask them questions and just kind of work with them a little bit here and there to kind of guide you along. That would be my suggestion.
Let's see. We have a question from Brian. He wants to know, are those vintage rabbit ears to the side of Dustin?
Yes, sir. These aren't that old. I actually have an older pair from the 70s. This is actually for my computer, for my TV tuner. It's built in my computer, but I actually do have a 70s pair that I need to get on eBay. They actually sell still.
And I want to say hello to Angie and everybody that came in a little late. I know we're still at this. We got this low viewers, so if you have any questions for Dustin, get them in. Doesn't necessarily have to be reselling related. If you want to get to know him, that's what we're talking. What my life series is more about. It's more about the person, not necessarily the reselling. Nellie wants to know. She said, "I have a Kojak game also. Do you sell of games?"
These are from the yard sales that I bought games that normally get, for me at least, and not everybody else, but typically I would say I can buy a stack of games like that for about $5, and I just bring them home and go through them and see if they got the pieces, and just look them up on eBay and what the sold listings are to kind of see what's worth keeping. If it's not worth keeping, aka over at least $10, I just go ahead and put it in my auction house plastic tub and just take it down there and dump it there and get my dollar back, more or less. These games I've looked up, they're at $10 to $20 typically. I have not posted them yet. I've been pretty busy with taking care of things around the house this week, so I haven't done a lot of eBay stuff this week, which I'm kind of disappointed. But like I said, I've got the baby coming along. I've got to get some of this stuff done, out of the way, so when the baby comes, that I can take pictures on my phone and then just post it from my phone instead of doing it on the computer down here in the office. But
Okay.
this
Neil asked, "Do rabbit ears sell?" And Joe answered him, saying yes, and the antennas do too. And she wanted to know, where do you live? She may have missed that part.
I live in Cincinnati, Ohio. See, I'm probably about 17 minutes from the Ohio River. Actually, during the summertime when I was 14, my uncle, he was a Cincinnati cop, and him and a lot of his buddies and firemen had a boat club down on the river. During the summer times, my mom would drop me off down there and pick up driftwood, build a pyramid so they could have a bonfire at night. My uncle would give me a burger light. It tasted like crap then. Still tastes like crap now.
Okay, Brett Luckett, I think you're new to the show. Welcome to it. Wanted to know, do open board games sell as good as games that are still sealed?
I would say no in general. Depend if the game's really rare, then an old, it won't make a difference. But as far as like a seal game, I ship everything new in a box out to Amazon. Even after the fees and everything else, I always get more money and it sells faster than eBay. That's how I do that. I do look it up. Say if I got like the Game of Life here on Amazon, they sell for stupid money, like 85, 150 bucks new in a box. You can't get that price point on eBay regardless, even after the fees. You're nowhere close. So I would not say do not buy used games. Like I said, just go to yard sales and you see a stack of them, just buy them all. Work, do a bundle or something. Get them all together.
And I want to add, Brett, I don't know how new you are to my channel, that I did do a Wednesday night show with Jim Bennett, the Emperor of Fun, and we did talk about board games themselves on that show. So if you want to go back after this show's over and watch it, he has great information about what to do with sealed games and stuff like that. He sells most of the games on Amazon FBA, so I don't know if that's something you're looking into. And I see Tanya shows up, so we're starting to get our viewers up here. That's good.
Plus, he's a really cool guy, real nice guy, so he's going to give you good, solid info if you need, Brett, if you need that. So.
Hi, Joni. And if you have any other questions for Dustin that Dustin has to always be reselling related, go ahead and ask. And while I'm looking for that before I let Dustin do and we're talking, since we got more viewers, I am 10 viewers away, subscribers from the show, my 1,000 subscribers. So I will be having a giveaway when that happens. I haven't figured out how I'm going to go about it yet, for a LED microscope loop / magnifier that you can look for anything. So, you want to find a marking on a jewelry, you can use that. If you need something for something else, you have that as well. So, and I see Chad just came over. So I'm assuming most of the viewers are coming over from Dusty's show, or they're watching both.
Hey, Neil, I saw your question. That's my favorite beer because they are $4.50 for a 6-pack of Tall Boys. That's not a bad deal. I prefer Miller Lite, and if I have the extra bucks, I'll get a Sam Adams Summer Ale or Winter Frost. But
well, Dustin, since you said you were doing more or less the selling in the flea markets before you got into the eBay, Amazon stuff, what actually got you into, like, what were you into before you started going to the flea markets and thinking about selling at them?
What do you mean as far as like when I was buying storage units? And that's what,
or just thinking for fun in general, because like people might not know. You say you were a little bit of a Hellraiser, but I mean, there's different levels to what people consider a Hellraiser.
As far as getting into the flea markets, like I said, I saw the show on TV. I'm like, man, that looks like a lot of fun. I went to probably 18, 22 auctions before I even bought my first storage unit, just kind of getting a price, figuring out what people were willing to pay and what was in a unit, and then going to the flea market and seeing what they sell for typically. So I just kind of sat back on it and didn't really jump into it full-fledged. Once I saw that, my first unit, I think I paid $30 for it. I pulled $410 out of it in profit. It took me all 4 hours to load it up and empty it out. And from there, I was pretty much hooked, because it is a lot of fun to go through the stuff, because you never know what's in the back or what's in the boxes. It could be a bunch of crappy kitchen utensils. It could be Tupperware, which is pretty much worthless. or it could be a lot of other cool stuff. So you just never know. The amount of hell raising I did was not crazy, nothing too crazy, just typical, typical young kid shit.
Okay.
Unless you want to go into detail about some of the dumb shit I've done.
But like I said, this is all up to what you want to share. So, and I don't know what questions the viewers are going to have for you. So that's part of what I want the guests to realize when they do come on. It's based on what you want to share, how the show is going to go. So.
Okay, so one night we were the group of us were out, 18, 19. We went to one of the local little clubs. Back then it was not hard to get in with a fake ID and so forth. So we got pretty hammered, and we're heading back home. And one of my buddies, he had too much to drink, and he had a little bit of alcohol in the vehicle, so he wants to drink some more. He says, "I gotta puke." We pull over behind a bank. He pukes. We all get out to pee. We're all peeing. Someone's tapping me on the shoulder. I'm going, "Hey, quit screwing around. I'm peeing. Leave me alone." Keeps tapping me, then starts poking me. I turn around while I'm peeing. I'm looking down. I'm like, "Oh, those are shiny shoes." I look up, and it's a freaking sheriff. I'm like, "Oh, I just pissed on the sheriff. This ain't gonna be good." Turned out he really did not want to put that paperwork together. So more or less away we went. If we weren't home in 15 minutes, then we'd have been in trouble.
Oh, well, good thing you didn't catch you driving.
No, we had one of the friends. We had like 2 or 3 different cars. Everybody had a driver, so we were all good that way. Just poor driver, because you get to listen to 4 or 5 young kids, smash stuck in a car. So
Joe wants to know, when did the reselling bug appear?
Joe, the first storage unit, like I just said, when I saw that quick, easy return, I started hammering at it more. But once I figured out how to move my inventory in 7 days or less at the flea markets, and that involved a lot of lowball, selling, just quick flipping the crap out of it, just moving as fast as possible so I could go buy 2 or 3 more units that week. And a big thing that really changed that was when I hooked up with my local consignment store a couple of years, about 3 years ago now, and developed a relationship with her. She really opened my eyes up to some of the stuff I could sell with her, and just in general, and that condition and quality and everything else. So those 2 combinations really just kind of got me stuck in it.
Before we get to Joe's next question for you, I see Elena popped in, and she must have came in just when you were talking about peeing on the sheriff's shoes. What did she wander into? Elena, this is a new show series I'm trying. I did one 2 weeks ago about myself, where the guests come in and talk a little bit about their lives before they became resellers, so people get to know who they were and what they went through to become the people that they are. So, and Joe wanted to know, Dustin, have you found your favorite niche yet?
I've got 2. I actually got 3 niches. 2 that I resell, 1 I keep. The one I keep is fedora hats. I think I'm up to like 14 hats now. I keep those every time I can get them at a really good deal. My 2 niches I sell are Guitar Hero guitars and mop heads. Those are pretty much my guarantees, easy to find kind of stuff. I know mop head sounds a little weird, but like the sponge mop heads with the metal studs in them, they sell very well on Amazon. They're typically only 50 cents on at St. Vincent de Paul's, just thrift stores in general, maybe $1.
Brian said he's got to take care of some stuff, and but he's still going to be listening. Angie wants to know, do you wear the fedoras?
Well, I don't have headphones on. There you go. It's kind of hard to put it on with the headphones. It doesn't really fit too well then.
Joe says, what about your Zippo hobby? Fascinating stuff if you may like to share.
I don't collect Zippos. That's Joe, Black Eye Joe. I collect playing cards because I don't have a lot of space in a 2-bedroom house with one kid and one kid on the way.
Well, I'll ask you this while I'm waiting to see if there's any more questions. And since I don't know how much more you want to share, what do you think of this new show idea that I'm doing? Since you're the first guest on it.
I like it. Like I like it because everybody's different, and you're not going to get along with everybody. But if you can watch a show and find someone does a show as a reseller, and you can kind of figure out if that's somebody you can get along with or not. And if so, maybe you could do working hangouts or just send them a message every now and then. You know what I mean? Or you're like, good guy, but just not the kind of people I want to hang out with, kind of thing. And it shows the reality of life is everybody's got a different life. Everybody's different, backgrounds. They're in this game for different reasons. Some people started doing this when they're 12. Some people didn't start doing it until they're 40. Some people didn't. Some people retired, then started doing it and became very good at it. So I think it'd be cool to see everybody's background and the process of how they got to where they're at from being born to now. I think it's pretty neat.
Okay. Joe wants to know. I said, that's right. Sorry. Perhaps you'd like to show a couple of the card sets.
Would I like to share them? Yeah, hold on a second.
Okay. If you haven't already and you like what I'm trying to do here to help everybody learn about people, please hit that like button. I know a few of you already did. I'm not refreshing this to see how many likes I have.
Found this one because it was round. I've never seen round playing cards before. Thought it was pretty different. So, especially being in Hong Kong, and I just like the WC, just the style of it. And then I bought this at a yard sale, just because I like to play. I like to play poker, so 50 cents, Random stuff. You just never know when you're going to come across stuff. When I see it, I buy it. New pack of cards is about $5. I don't spend more than that on the older cards. When I come across them, I come across them. So,
Mr. Sadie just showed up.
Hey.
Andy wanted to know, do you know what you're going to have, a boy or a girl?
No, the first one was up to me to know or not, and I chose not to know. If it was a boy, I was going to name him Dustin Gerald. I'm Dustin James. My dad's first name is Gerald. So I wanted him to have that option down the road to keep one of the names if you wanted to. And the second one that's on the way was up to the missus. And we were doing the echo, and she surprised me and said she didn't want to know. And she gets to pick the name. So we'll find out. But we do know healthy spine, 4-chamber heart, and it's growing. So we're okay there.
Excuse me. Andy says she thought those were rare, but the round ones aren't too rare actually for the circle cards.
Yeah, I don't collect them for the rarity. I just collect them just to have different stuff. Like I said, I don't have a lot of space. I only have these couple shells to put stuff on, and obviously it doesn't take long to fill them up. So when I come across them, I'll just pick them up for a few bucks, and just, I would like to find a lot more Art Deco type of cards, but they're hard to. There's not too many out there that are older. It's all newer plastic stuff that we use for like our poker game, but not collectible. Like the packaging, to me, it's the packaging. I'll never use these cards.
Andy wanted to know when is she due, and Owen Wolf says congrats on the soon-to-be new baby.
Thank you. Well, Dustin was born at 29 weeks at 2 pounds 9 ounces. We are at the 29 week going on 30 weeks, and her blood pressure it's moving a little bit, but not near as much. So we're probably looking sometime in the next 1 to 4 weeks. Dustin was in NICU for almost 3 months because they wait till you get to 7 pounds and then out you go. So that's where we're at.
Okay. Well, I also know you didn't, or were you there last week 2 weeks ago when I did my show?
On Wednesday night?
No, when I actually did my version of this, My Life.
I was not able to watch it live. I had to watch it the next day.
Okay. Look, I can see if you had any questions for me, since I know how much you actually caught of it.
I have a personal question, but I'll do that off the air.
I'm not gonna, but I'll just ask it. If I don't want to answer it, I won't answer it.
No, I'll do it off the air. But anyways, moving on.
That's part of what this was supposed to be about. If the person's gonna be willing to be transparent as much as they want, so that's why I'm not afraid to answer it. If it's something I don't want to answer on here, I'll tell you I'll answer it off.
Okay. How often? Because you were talking about high school and some of the issues you were having with other kids. From there to now, even now, especially now, is what I really want to know. How often do people give you a hard time when they notice that you have a little bit of an issue? Do you get that, or do most people just not notice it, or at least don't say anything?
They don't say anything, or depending on if they do try to start with me, depending on where I'm at. Sometimes there's people there that back me up, and I don't even know that they're there to back me up, type of thing. Like when I first moved here, I went to go play poker a couple of times, and a friend of mine would get somebody I met at the poker would say, "Well, you want to come play here? I'll give you a ride," type of thing. He understood because his son had an issue too, so he kind of understood where I was coming from. But so when somebody wanted to start trying to fight with me, he said, "Well, if you're gonna like it to him, you gotta go through me." And then one of his friends said the same thing. He said, "Well, if you're gonna go to him, because he wasn't necessarily 100% either, then you got to go through me." So the guy kind of backed off. I say, "Okay, I don't want to play all 3 of you." So it's like kind of where I'm at, but I'm not out that often to where they necessarily say anything. Like I've had a couple of people at yard sales say something after like one time I got one of those free well, it wasn't free, but I said, "How much?" They had a handheld game out, and I said, "How much?" And then they're like, well, how much? I said, it doesn't say. And he's like, just take it. And I said, well, to tell you the wise, I don't want to get in trouble because the wise were in another part of the yard sale. And I started walking away, and I heard him say something, but I just kept walking. I'm like, it's not worth it turning around to say, what did you say? So after he said it, he started laughing. And I'm not going to start being confrontational when they want to make fun of me, fine. But the other ones, I got the answer for it later, not me.
Yeah, I actually there was a layout service for a girl I went to grade school with this past weekend or yesterday, and she was diabetic in grade school. We would just be in class, no problem, and you'd just hear a thud, and her levels would spike, and her head would hit the desk, and we'd all would just kind of, whoever was close to her would give her some apple juice, hold her head up, give her some juice, and she'd kind of come back through and give her an orange to chew on and so forth. But we'd go out on the weekends to a local bowling alley or something like that, and she'd have some issues. And other kids would say, oh, she must be drunk or something like that. No, I might be, she's not. But so it's I understand the high school level and grade school because kids are kids and they're just freaking stupid and they don't know shit yet and they haven't figured it out in life. But I was kind of curious, as now you're an adult and older, that people still, if there's still one jackass every now and then that acts like an idiot.
Well, that's why when I have a new guest on, most of the time, I didn't do it with Jim because I figured he might have caught, who started to watch some of my videos when we talked, that I tell them what I have. So that way, if they have an issue with it, they can back out of coming on the show then. I don't want to have anybody being on that doesn't feel comfortable for whatever reason. And everybody that is asking, Roxy is doing okay. As she answered Dustin, she's every time once in a while she gets spurts to do things, and then she gets tired out. So it's still a three steps forward, 2 steps back type of thing. And she will be starting. Well, she started physical therapy Friday, and she's supposed to be going twice a week for at least a month. So yeah, we're gonna be trying to figure out getting some things listed because we need to get that extra money for the co-payment for that, but we'll figure it out some way, somehow. And yet the one that's behind me, boys, is this is actually Shadow. It's trying to stay cool tonight because it's awfully it's like 70 something degrees here tonight or today. So that's part of why the window behind me is a little open so I can get the breeze coming in from outside instead of just using the AC that I have next to me now, which is what you see in this corner here. So let's see.
I'll give everybody a word of wisdom, piece of advice. When you're 17 years old and you are invincible, do not drive your car through a cornfield. Not a good result for the car or anything else.
Let's see. Any more questions for Dustin here, since we're 15 minutes away from the hour, and I know a lot of you came in late. So if you want to have any questions about Dustin, about his upbringing, I don't know how many of you heard about his way he had to deal with from his birth. So I keep going back to that, but that's, like I said, we don't know how many people actually heard about it. So if you want to repeat yourself a third time, that's up to you.
I was born bilateral club feet. Had a lot of surgeries. If you look it up on Google it, you'll find out what the process is. It's changing now. They don't break your legs anymore and put the pins in as much as they used to. But I still actually, my left ankle still have a shit ton of arthritis. I can pretty much do about 6 hours on my feet working. And after that, the next day, it takes me 20, 30 minutes to kind of get a little bit more movement back in my ankle. It's just, which makes my right knee hurt. Once that hurts, I keep pushing. Then my back hurts because I'm trying to balance it all out. But it's just a part of life. You know, you can't change it. Just got to deal with it, kind of thing. You know.
I've seen a couple of people mention that they're, let's see, for fishing. I can't think of the. I can't really read any mini Fran, something like that. It's an actual USB port fan. You can actually put water in it as well. So, and Brett, you've been to Denver, Breckenridge, and it's awesome state. I'm actually 2 hours south of Denver. The crazy card wants to know, how long have you been reselling?
Reselling, I think I'm at 4.5 years now. Is the crazy card? Do you play poker?
Well, you know I do.
I know.
We haven't played me yet.
No, I don't. I don't have that much time to sit on there and do that. Otherwise, I like to play heads up.
Well, the sites that I play at, we play, I don't have heads up tables.
What about on the online thing? We can't do it on Facebook.
On Facebook, I don't think they have that on the heads up. Well, you could if you both play on the same table, but that doesn't mean somebody else won't pop in all of a sudden when you're in the middle of a game.
Yeah, but you know, either which way, just don't bet for like 5 minutes; they'll disappear.
The crazy card says no to playing poker.
What's that?
The crazy card says no about playing poker.
Okay, I wasn't sure if he's, you know, with his name, I wasn't sure if he did or not. Yeah, we wrapped up a pool league. Came in first place this year. That was last Wednesday night, so it was an interesting scenario.
Yeah, so you won't be coming in late to the show this Wednesday, unless the kids need you.
Yeah, unless there's a problem, but I don't see any issue jumping on and watching your Wednesday night show live.
And for everybody that's wondering, I will be having Gladys on again this week. It's been a while since she's been on, and she's going to be talking about organization and storage. So bring your questions.
Ooh, yeah, I want to check that one out. See what she's got going on.
So, any more questions for Mr. Souders tonight? Do you see any more?
No, I haven't seen anything. Trying to pay attention as much as possible, but no, I haven't seen too many things. And I went to Catholic grade school and high school, college prep high school. Just for laughs, if there's a few viewers out there I've talked to before, to get a kick out of that one.
What else do you think the viewers would like to know about you that doesn't necessarily have to be reselling related?
I shoot pool. I like bowling. Just don't have time to bowl as much as I used to. I love playing poker. It's probably one of my favorite things to do. Get on a table and just start just figuring out what people are up to and how they're thinking, how they approach stuff, and put the patterns together and figure out what they're doing. That's actually a lot of fun. I used to do that quite a bit. But when you have kids and so forth, and the house, things change, and you know. But I like playing poker. I used to play a little bit. Started off playing 3-6. Start getting into 1-2 no limit, 2-4 no limits. So it was a lot of fun. A lot of home games too.
Okay, Neil wants to know what is your favorite site to list on and why?
Well, there's no listing on Amazon for the most part. That's my favorite because it's quick and easy. But eBay does, if you have some unique stuff, it's a lot of fun. They get an excited buyer once they see it and they, oh, buy it, bam. Like, hey, you're going to ship this in this way, blah, blah, blah. And so that's kind of cool that you can get rid of some of the stuff that way. I like eBay for the uniqueness of it. So.
Owen Wolf wants to know, do you sell full time?
Well, I'm a stay-at-home father full time. I sell when I can. So that might be 2 hours a day. It might be 4 hours a day. It might be 0 hours a day. It might be 6. It just kind of depends on what I'm working on here at the house and what I got to do. So.
And Fishing wants to know what your bowling average is.
It used to be a 217, but I'm probably down to like a 180, 87 now because I bowl about once every 3 months. I use a Storm Pearl, and it's pretty consistent here. We don't have a lot of sport oil packages here, so, but.
I haven't bowled in years.
I like it. I still love bowling. It's just, you got to choose your hobbies: pool, bowling.
Well, I know. Bowling for me would be too far away anyway. I actually moved here because when we were looking it up, like for an area to live, they actually had 5 bowling alleys in this city at one time.
Yeah, one of the jobs I had, Injection Magnesium, I worked there for a local company for about a year and a half, and I got a job offer to move out there. I looked at the rent, the cost of living versus here. It was just, I asked for a little bit more money, they wouldn't give it, so I couldn't move out there because I really wanted to.
Well, let's see. Jim Bennett wants to know, has the analytical nature of poker helped you with reselling?
Yes, and it's kicked me in the ass a few times, just like poker does too, when you get a little too far ahead of yourself. But as far as the breakdown of it, yeah, it does actually help in a way because, just say I go to a yard sale. This couple weeks I went to a neighborhood sale. I would always park as close to many houses I could walk to without having to park and drive kind of thing. And you start seeing a pattern in what they have. You start seeing a pattern in the way people act, and you tell how the neighborhood. And all of a sudden, mentally, I'm starting to break it down. Okay, this neighborhood's this way. They have most of the neighborhood's fairly new, so they're going to have mostly newer stuff, not too many old, big profit items, and so forth. Nothing's going to be unique and unusual because they just moved. They probably threw a lot of stuff away before they got here. And you start breaking it down. And yeah, that's how you do poker. So if you play poker, you already know that too.
Yeah, when I wanted to start doing the storage auctions here, the wife thought that poker would help me in that because it's like you can psych out the opponent sometimes. Like they want to show.
I would say no way in hell. You can't psych out someone that has 10 grand in their pocket that doesn't care about it.
What I'm saying, depending on where you're, like you'd be able to study how they are and figure out who the players are and who you can do it to.
There is a way to do that a little bit in storage units. Is watch what they buy on a regular basis, and just throw a couple bids in every now and then to push them up, but not get on the radar also. And if they don't, like, say you have the guy who has 10 grand in his pocket and he always shows up and buys the big 10 by 20s, full household, furniture wrapped up. and he's at 1,500. Hit him one more time. You know, he's going to go another $100 on it or 200. So you might as well hit him and just let him know you're there. But I wouldn't hit him 4 more times. He might dump it back on you, knowing you don't want it. So, but you know, don't be afraid to hit somebody up in that scenario. Like if the guy's hammering at it with the other guy, and then it gets to a stall, just go ahead and throw another $100 on it. He'll hit it again.
Let's see. Fishing wants to know, what's your bowling style?
I'm a tweener, and my spare is a urethane straight ball at high speed.
Okay. Well, I want to let everybody know, next Sunday, depending on his health, Northeast Picker is going to attempt to be on. So there's a couple people that said he'll be on besides him. I may ask one of them to be a backup just in case Chris can't make it. So,
Well, anybody out there, if you don't mind getting on the show.
oh, I already know. I already have like 4 other people that said they'd be on. So that's why I'm saying I might just go to one of them if need be. But I want everybody to know that Chris has said he'd be on, and it's because of health reasons that he's hasn't been around and been online as often as he used to be. So, and I know he's gonna be watching this tomorrow. He already told me that tonight. So get better soon, Chris. Let's see. They're talking about bowling.
Jim Bennett, he didn't have a question, but I was just reading what he posted.
Yeah, I found that poker players develop their brains to sense the bull cut deals when someone is telling stories about value of an item. Comes in handy with negotiations.
Yes, it does. It does. More, I would say, not even just with reselling, just in general in life. It's more than once I've come across somebody. Oh, you want to? Okay, I want $20 for it, and I'll look it up, and it'll be like it sells for 10. And I said, well, I'll give you $1 for it. She goes, no. They get all mad at you, and you just completely switch over to something else. Go over to something else, and they want $1. You offer them $3 for it. And then you just start playing this game. And sometimes I get stuck in that mode where I'm not really worried about the item. It's the fun of the game. Now she's confused. I'm lowballing one now. I'm giving her more money than she wanted. And it's like, what the heck's going on?
All right. Well, Jim just agreed if he'll commit to hopping on the last minute since he's already on the list to be a guest. So if Chris can't make it, you'll see Jim.
Cool.
But of course, we all want to see Chris, and we want to know how he's doing. So. I will, Jim. Any other questions for Dustin, since we're just getting on the hour? And I know, like I said before, a few of you came on late, which I understand. Dustin and Kristen like get the followers too. If not, I don't know if I'll be sticking around, but I know Dustin will probably stick around for an after show.
Yeah, I'll do an after show if anybody wants to jump on in.
So I don't know if I'll be staying around. I had things to do and whatnot, so let's give it a few minutes, see if there's going to be any last minute questions or comments. Thanks for telling us a little bit about your life, Dustin.
Yeah, if you guys want any more questions, you don't have to do it here. You can also hit me on Facebook and ask away. I'm not shy.
Let's see. Brett's saying hit the like. He's out. He said first he's out of here, and then he said hit the thumbs up, hit the like button. So thanks, Brett. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope to catch you on Wednesday night, an hour earlier than tonight. We started at 10 o'clock Eastern time. So let's see. I haven't seen any more questions. And I know Neil will come in for an after show. So you'll have at least one with you.
I'm sure Don and Coco is out there.
All right. Well, they're all saying good show. So with that being said, thanks for everybody for watching. Thanks again, Dustin, for coming on and being my test guinea for this formula. Hopefully we can work on it and improve it if we need to, or just leave it the way it is.
Yeah, I'd like to see where it goes. I think it'll be pretty interesting. Like to hear from a lot of people.
She's here, so the one says you have to change the shirt.
No way, Don.
All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. I will see you Wednesday night.
Thanks, guys.